tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait. Do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
Everything looks great right now. Light volume across the entire system, full freeway speeds. No incidents to report either, so everything is rolling along just fine. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold. You'll have some flurries later on, possibly with a high of 15. Tonight, a few flurries, still cold with a low of 6 above at the lake, 0 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Hey, you know what, Jen? Sometimes I put stuff in my hair to get rid of some of the gray.
So attractive one day, not attractive the next.
Have you come across this?
Yes, I am familiar with this syndrome. She's a two-face.
And when I come in the next day, you can kind of notice a little bit. But by the third or fourth day, you forget, okay? Yes, there I said.
Boy, am I glad to see you.
Are you expecting someone else?
You never know.
You might want to take the tunnel.
So, what do you feel like eating, Chinese or Italian?
I put a little hair product in. Sue me. Who cares? Own it.
Kramer, hi.
Oh, hello.
It's Gwen. We met at the coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
I'm dating your friend Jerry.
I don't know who you really are, but I've seen Jerry's girlfriend, and she's not you. You're much better looking.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it.
It's a little bit of a frustrating morning, big guy.
Why?
A little bit, just...
Are you sick?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm still... Every once in a while you have a cough, just kind of recovering from whatever it was, that I had last week. But... Like, this is supposed to be, football's done. Yeah, now there are a couple little waves coming here over the next handful of weeks. I mean, you've got the franchise tag window is now open. I'm sure we'll talk with Adam Schefter about that when he joins us in about 30 minutes. It's the NBA All-Star break, so the Bucks aren't back in action until tomorrow.
Oh, don't sugarcoat it. You're trying to sugarcoat it.
Well, no, this is supposed to be a time, Chew, that with baseball and everybody's reporting and hope springs eternal and it's supposed to be good vibes. Like you're supposed to have at this point in the season good vibes about your baseball team, right? Like that's what this time of year is about. Like especially when you're in Wisconsin, when you go through the foot of snow that we got last week into the Arctic blast that we're currently going through. Like the thoughts of spring in baseball and nice weather are supposed to be like uplifting, and you're supposed to feel good, especially for a team that won the division by 10 games a year ago.
It's fine, but you can say it, Gabe. Sports right now sucks. This is the worst time of the year for sports.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a downtime. This is certainly
you're not getting excited. I mean, you can't watch preseason baseball. I'm sorry, you can't. It's impossible.
Oh, sure, but pitchers and catchers reporting like there's a feeling about that, right? Like, oh man, baseball's close. Baseball's close.
Yes.
So what am I supposed to do when the owner of our team decides to step in it the way he did yesterday? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Mark Attanasio decided to speak to the media yesterday. happens every spring. No big deal. Talking about a bunch of different things. And he covered a lot of different topics yesterday. They've got different plans in ways to honor Bob Uecker throughout the course of this year. So some positive things, certainly. But then he also decided to say this yesterday.
Similar to the question, what's your job? Forget about calling yourself, if you're the steward of baseball here. Is my job to win a World Series? Now it's going to everybody say, oh, he doesn't think he has to win a World Series. But it's my job to win a World Series. It's my job to provide a summer of entertainment and passion and a way for families to come together.
Did you catch that? He asked aloud, he asked the rhetorical question, is it my job to win a World Series, or is it my job to provide entertainment for families throughout the course of the summer? Now, I would argue that it's both. That's both. That's your job. Like, that's your job as an owner. That is your job. Is to provide entertainment, yes, especially with baseball, because there's you're hosting 81 home games and it's a lot, and you want to have the entertaining stuff that the Brewers do throughout the course of the season, whether it's kids and running the bases on Sundays and doing all those different fun family stuff that the Brewers certainly do a really good job of, and the attendance does not lie with that. But when you juxtapose that against, well, am I supposed to win a World Series or am I supposed to provide entertainment? Like, that drives a fan base absolutely insane.
I would agree. What's so hard for me is, I'm not an Ignacio fan. I don't know the man. I really don't care. But yes, it is your job to win a World Series, or at least move in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's difficult in baseball because baseball's unfair.
Yes.
My problem is I look at last year. I love the players. I love the coach. The GM, I think, does a wonderful job. But this guy is not. Is it time to herd Cole his ass out of town?
So here's the weird part about this whole thing, because the Brewers have had success. Like, I don't think you can argue that. Like, under Mark Attanasio's watch, the Brewers have experienced the best, most sustained success they've ever had in franchise history. Like, this franchise, before Mark Attanasio took over, made the playoffs twice. They made it in 81, and then they made it in 82, and famously, went to the World Series that year, but did not make another playoff until 2007. And so most of the vast majority of success that this franchise has experienced under Mark Attanasio's watch. But we always talk about, Chew, how, and at different times, like, they were willing to push chips in the middle, right? Trade for CC Sabathia, trade for Zach Greinke. But it just, I don't know if they haven't really made that splash move in the last handful of years. Yes, they went out the year that they signed Christian, they traded for Christian Yelich and they signed Lorenzo Cain and they made big pushes then, but they haven't really done anything big since. And
why? All right, let me ask you. Why would he say this?
I don't
knowing
know
that it's toxic.
I don't know why he would.
Is he riding still the coattails of last year? Because you're only as good as your last game. In the last game, you lost.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I mean
that. Does he believe that last year can carry him through 2 or 3 years of meh?
So here is also something that he said, because he was also asked about, the Dodgers and the way that they spend. And he has a quote, everybody's going to get tired of me saying this, but since 2005, the Brewers have the fourth most wins in the National League. Since 2007, top 10 in attendance. Since 2020, the only team that's been in first place more days than us is the Dodgers. So they've, again...
But you don't... What do you want, a ribbon? Is this the YMCA? You want a ribbon? If you're that close, why don't you do a little bit more to try and get you over the top? Now, I understand, okay, because we own businesses, right? And you don't want to lose money, right? But there is a responsibility to employees to make, they have families and want to make sure they're taken care of and they're happy at work and this and that. I just don't understand for the life. Did he have vomit mouth? Did he know that this was not going to be a good reaction to what he said? Is it arrogant? I just don't understand that. And it's, Gabe, it's one of those things where, a lot like Josh Jacobs and what he said earlier this year, it's okay to think it.
Yeah.
It's okay to think it.
And we already think,
but
by
you don't want to say that out loud.
There is a large portion of the Brewers fan base that already believes that that's the way Mark Attanasio felt. There is a large portion of the fan base that already believed that, and he just decided to open his mouth and confirm it. But you didn't need to confirm it.
No.
I mean, and this is the Mark Attanasio that I believe Craig Counsell was counting on when he left the Brewers last year. And Mark Attanasio, to his credit, did a good job of kind of keeping his mouth shut and playing it pretty straight. But when he says things like this, it almost makes you go, oh, okay, I kind of get why Craig maybe left. Because if ownership, I have long believed this in sports. You can only be so good in terms of, like, you can only be so bad in terms of your ownership. Like, there's only so much you can overcome. And if ownership isn't dedicated to winning, and look, to a certain extent, certainly I think they're obviously they are committed to winning. They've had a lot of success. But they haven't made that last move that's really pushed them over the top in a number of years to make that run at a World Series. Despite the divisions that they've won in the Central, despite how good the team has been, they haven't made those last moves. And, like, relating it back to football, Chew, like, I don't think the Cowboys can win a championship with Jerry Jones as their owner. He's just not good enough. He's just not. He's too meddlesome. The biggest example is take a look at what happened in Washington. They had an owner just holding them down for years and years and years. They finally has to be forced out because of different scandals and whatnot. They get a new owner in there. They get some competency, and they go to an NFC championship game. Like, your ownership sets the tone for everything when it comes to championships and winning. And, again, the thing that I struggle with is, yes, they have had success. And you can't argue that. Like, you can't argue that this team has had a lot of success. They just haven't been able to get out of the wild card round in forever now, and they haven't been to a World Series still since '82. They haven't made the appropriate moves that have put them over the top, and it just seems like every year they overachieve.
Well, we did this like last week or 2 weeks ago where I don't know if we polled it, but I said, how long should we expect to go between Super Bowl appearances by the Packers? And I think all three of us settled on 15 years. Am I right, Josh?
Yeah, it was 10 to 15.
15 years.
That's kind of where we came at.
If Attanasio wins a World Series and makes moves to put them over the top, that's 30 years. I mean, at least it would be for me, and I think a lot of people would be the same. You guys agree with that? Like, you won one? Huh?
I think so. I think it would engender a lot of goodwill. A lot.
Yes. And he would be a hero.
Like,
in Wisconsin.
I think
here's the thing when it comes to the Brewers, too. You don't even have to win the World Series. Think about how that 82 team is revered.
Yes.
And that's just because they got there.
Yeah.
Winning would be nice.
What makes this
I wouldn't argue.
really difficult is it serves as a cold, hard reminder that to us, to fans, this is a passion. This is like what we live for. This is what we rely on for our summers, and we want more than anything to reach the highest of highs because it would be an all-time celebration. To people like Mark, this is a business. It's only about profit and loss.
Yeah,
and it's
I
only
agree.
about making a certain amount of money. The winning is good and fine and is a desire, but at the end of the day, it's about balancing the books. And he spent, if you read the multiple articles that came out across all of Milwaukee sports yesterday, he spent a lot of time talking about the difference in TV contracts and all of the stuff we don't care about. I don't care about what the Brewers TV deal is. Get a better one. Do something more. I don't know. It's not my fault. I'm not the one signing contracts. I'm not the one offering up the money. When you boil it down to that sense of it's about passion, we have passion. Having passion is
Oh,
what
yeah.
we do every single year when we show up to nearly the tune of 3 million people every single year.
Yeah.
Despite us all knowing that Corbin Burns is going to walk on, Willie Adames isn't going to stay here, Devin Williams, Josh Hader, all those guys that you've grown to love aren't going to be here, and the attempt to keep them around is going to be futile. It's going to be an offer. It's going to be a gesture so your fan base doesn't get mad. Having to remind us all the time, we get it, it's small market. Yeah, we know that. And the Brewers have done a really good job of engendering that in their fan base, where people blame the Dodgers instead of blaming the person who's down the street. Like, to some extent, you have to go above and beyond. And Brewers ownership is not willing to do that. And they never have been.
Is this Moneyball Milwaukee version?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they've
advantage. He takes advantage of a really good GM. He takes advantage of a really good manager.
Yeah, because they need those things, Chew, in order to succeed. Like, you don't, in order for the Brewers to have success, they need to, that's where they have to win. They have to win in the margins. They have to win with a general manager that is able to identify talent higher, at a higher level and hit on a higher level than anybody else. They have to have a minor league system that can develop those players, and then they have to have those controllable assets in order for the Brewers to have success.
All right, Joshy, this is for you because you were the most angry about this. Do you still blame Craig Counsell for moving on?
I
knowing
do.
what you know now, knowing that this guy really doesn't care about a World Series.
I've always known I don't think it took a genius to figure out why Craig Counsell was leaving. It was the way it was done and the place that he ended up going that is just pure sports rivalry more than anything. That's not, believe me, if I was in Craig Counsell's shoes and the decision between the money and the opportunity where I make the same decision and I laugh all the way to the bank. But I'm a fan and I'm going to be irrational. And I'm going to say, hey, you left for our most hated rival, therefore you're now my enemy.
No, but I think a huge part of it, Joshy, was he wants to win a World Series.
1,000,000%.
And he knows it ain't going to happen.
1,000,000%. I agree with that. I knew that at the time.
Which is also funny because the Cubs are refusing to spend money right now, too.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah, they got blasted by...
They could have gotten... Like, they were the favorites to get Bregman, and then it comes out that they did not even offer anything competitive to actually sign him. Oh... That's
Gabe, that's why I'm off on the Red Sox, right? I'm off on the Red Sox. I mean, they just make me... Because they have the money to do it. They've shown that they have the money to do it.
And they actually did spend it this offseason.
Well, they did, but as of late, they really...
Oh, correct.
They made some poor moves.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
And everybody in Boston is upset about that because they have the money to spend. They haven't been keeping up with the Mets, with the Dodgers. And the other thing that frustrates me with this, because he talked about a lot of these different things. And when he went off and listed all the things that they've accomplished since 2005, he said the sentence, so I don't want to think small. But that's all the Brewers ever do is think small.
Correct.
Like, and again, I understand there are financial constraints. You have to be creative. And, I am going to do my best to enjoy Jackson Chourio for as long as I can because there's not a chance in hell that they're going to be able to re-sign him at a market value deal when that thing expires in, 7-8 years, whatever it is.
But it's not enough, Gabe. It's not enough because they've shown that they're right there, Mm-hmm. It's Moneyball all over again. Just give me a little bit more.
But don't say the quiet part out loud.
I know.
That's the thing you don't have to do is because there's, again, a portion of the fan base that's upset that the Brewers really didn't do anything to try to replace Willie Adames. That they didn't go out there and try to spend money, and the Brewers, and again, in baseball is getting more and more complicated because money gets deferred and who knows what's due now versus what's due in the future because the Brewers' payroll is going to be down. At least that's been the reporting as of late. And Mark Attanasio is saying that the payroll right now to start the season is approximately $5 million more than it was at the start of last year.
Yeah, that's inflationary.
Yeah, so, but still, it's... Like, everybody knows the reality. You don't need to say the quiet part out loud. Like, you don't have to step up to a microphone and go, well, what's really my job? Is it to try to win a World Series? And the frustrating part on top of it is You mentioned Herb Cole earlier, the owners that took over the Bucs, and whether or not you agree that they have made the right moves over the last handful of years, at the end of the day, they're willing to spend money. Like, they're willing to go into the apron, the tax, and all that sort of thing. And I understand. Basketball's different, and there's, only X amount of dollars that you can spend. But they're willing to spend it. Like, they've got the same TV constraints as the Brewers do with FanDuel TV and trying to figure out that whole mess. But they're willing to spend money, and they want a championship. And I think that's what Brewers fans want. Not that, anybody's expecting you to go out and spend the money that the Dodgers are spending. But to follow up a year in which you won the division by 10 games, had a stud shortstop in the middle part of your lineup leave, and then ultimately not really do anything to try to replace that, and then come to a microphone and say, yeah, it's not really my job to win a World Series. I just want to entertain. Man, your job's both. Your job is both. And if that's the frustrating part to me. Is that the job is both. We'll get to your reaction. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. Send us a text on the Carlos Talk and text line, 800-990-3776. List is more. Your reactions to Mark Antanasio saying, is it my job to win a World Series, or is it my job to be entertainment for families in Milwaukee throughout the course of the summer? We hear from you coming up next.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
It's a pretty quiet ride across the entire area. Really not seeing any kind of problems. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes on eastbound 94, just east of 70th Street. But overall, everything is looking nice and quiet. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold with a few flurries later on, high of 15. Tonight, a few flurries, still very cold, a low of 6 above at the Lake Zero inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lozagon, 94.5 ESPN.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Wallace for Universal Windows Direct, and they have the Love Your Windows sale going on now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. It's the perfect way to save big. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, pumpkin seeds.
No, little suckers. They might be. What did you say before, Jen?
Sesame but those
seeds
are white, like
No,
white.
these aren't white. No, this isn't on the outside. This is on the inside.
Seeds on the inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you've got some sort of like
Scrotum.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Is it Mark Attanacio's job to win a World Series, or is it to be family entertainment? That is the question he asked himself out loud yesterday down in Arizona at Brewers spring training. We want to get to your reaction on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 800-990-3776. We'll get to your texts in a moment. Let's go out to Ryan in Racine. Ryan, you're on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think the thing that we got to remember about his comments, and that maybe Mark needs to remember, is when the Bucks won a championship, all the fans enjoyed that. You know, before they won the championship, when they were bad, you know, in the 11, 12, 13, no one really cared about the Bucks. But now that they've won a championship, everyone loves them. I think that's the same thing that Mark's got to realize with the Brewers. If the Brewers win a championship, everyone will want to be a fan and be at games, and that will be the best experience that he can give us.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And look, I think the Brewers have done a really good job because there were some lean years in there. Like when I first moved to Milwaukee in the post-2011 playoff run that they had, when Prince had to go and then they ended up trading like Greinke and all these different things, there were some lean years in there. There were some bad years. And they still did a great job of drawing people to the ballpark. And I think that Brewers fans at that point just wanted the team to be competitive. And then they got to that point where they were, and they were about 500. And now they've built up this. Now you want teams, and you want to have the players in this squad take that next step. Todd texts in, 800-990-3776, Carbless Talk and Text line. So, Gabe, on what then do the Brewers need to spend to actually make the World Series? Was Willie the piece that got away? I don't think so. Team wasn't good enough last year. All right, if that's your take, Todd, that's fine. I think they were good enough to go further than they did last year. Devin Williams had a bad inning, and it happens. It's the randomness of baseball. It's how teams like the Diamondbacks get to a World Series and then miss the playoffs the year before. The randomness of baseball can bite you from time to time. But if Willie, do I think that Willie was the piece that would get them over the top if they re-signed him this offseason? No. But if the team wasn't good enough last year with Willie Adames, with Devin Williams, how on earth is the team going to be good enough to get to a World Series this year when you've lost those pieces?
Yeah, but we talked about it last year, Gabe. Okay, maybe the team wasn't good enough, but you had opportunity to go get people at the trade deadline.
Yep.
And you decided not to because you don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what? You give people a World Series here, right?
Oof.
Don't spend money for 10 years.
Right?
Thank you. We got it. We're good.
So for the majority of my life, I would say that, the Bucks have been really important, I think, to Milwaukee, especially as good as they've become. Because I live in Milwaukee now, it's hard to get a pulse of what it's like around the rest of the state. Maybe Giannis has changed this. But like when I was living in Madison, like nobody really cared about the Bucks. Yeah, okay, they got Brandon Jennings and Andrew Bogut. Maybe they make the playoffs, but nobody necessarily, it wasn't a deep passion. But the Brewers, I feel, have been this passion throughout the state. And I just imagine what the Deer District was like. And granted, that was a confluence of events, like coming out of the pandemic, team in the championship. Like, I think of what the Deer District was like during that championship run. And I think of what the entire damn state would be like if the Brewers were in a World Series. It's honestly hard for me to imagine how much the state would be in a frenzy.
The parade would blow out what the Bucks saw.
Yes.
Because people would be coming from all over the state. The Bucks are a more Milwaukee thing than any. The baseball passion goes deep. People talk about 82 like it happened yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
It is still like one of the most important sports events of many sports fans in Wisconsin's lives. The proposition and the big problem is the either-or idea, which Scott alluded to there. It's really telling in the fact that to even propose that would lead you to believe Mark believes his job is to balance his books, make a little bit of money, and fill the stadium. It's not to bring championships to Milwaukee. And Brewers fans.
Like, it would be nice.
Yes.
Like, I think championships is on the list, Josh. I will say
Yes.
that. I don't think it's completely off the list.
Correct.
But it's definitely not number one.
And I don't expect you to be the Dodgers and to be spending
Correct.
into the
or
red.
the Mets.
Right. I understand the limitations, but I do expect turning over every leaf and spending every amount that is physically possible, and sometimes taking a loss. Sometimes you're going to make some bad moves. You're going to be in the red. You all also are going to be in the black when you make deep playoff runs and add millions of dollars through all the ticket sales and all the merch sales and all the stuff you can do. So there is a way to get there, and it's not always going to be you're profitable. You could do it more than one way, and hemorrhaging salary cap is like a non-starter. For them to be spending less money year over year is crazy to me. And I know they're going to say we actually are spending 5 more. They're trying to equivocate that. Everywhere you look, everyone tells you they're spending less.
Mm-hmm.
So where the Brewers are getting their numbers and where like a SPO track is, I don't understand. I don't understand how you spend more money by losing the guys you were paying, two of the guys you were paying the most. I don't really know how that happens. But to not even spend at all to get better from what you just traded away to me is inexcusable. And we're going to keep showing up because we're passionate about the Brewers.
Well, because I still expect this team to be good because they've been good.
Right.
And they play a different fun brand of baseball. Like, that's what I want to be talking about. That's what I want to be focused on, not how cheap the owner is and how he decided to just say how cheap he is out loud.
Well, shouldn't every owner of a baseball franchise want a great experience for the family and all that? And doesn't that go hand in hand with making money?
Yes.
You know? Because if you put a crappy game day experience, no one's going to come and you're not going to make money. We just want an owner that's going to take the next step, right? But I hate to say it, now we know.
Yeah, now we know for sure.
Now we know. Now we know he is not committed.
This from Joe in Brookfield on the Car Blues Talking text line, 800-990-3776. If Mark A. wants Brewers fan experience to be, quote, the most important, then make food and beverage pricing like they do in Atlanta.
Well, they need that money, Gabe. They're so desperate for money.
It's a good point. I think that's a good point from Joe. That's all I'm saying.
It is a good point. And it's something that they'll tell you is unaffordable, and they do their special packages. But we all know when we go to games, it's direly expensive if you are to spend a full day there and consume the beer and the food and the merch and all of that.
So we will get to Adam Schefter, running a little bit behind. We'll talk with Schefty, maybe a little bit about this. We'll talk to him a little bit about the deadlines that are coming up in the NFL and how they can affect the Green Bay Packers. Schefty next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, we've got problems on eastbound 94. Well, not really problems. We've got delays, basically. Delays from 84th Street all the way through to Holly Road. A little quick tap of the brakes in the stadium interchange as well. Southbound 41's filling in. We got delays just south of Appleton Avenue heading towards Silver Springs. So just starting to grow right now. The rest of the system is looking pretty good. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold, a few flurries later on, a high of 15. Tonight, a few flurries, still very cold, a low of 6 above at the lake, 0 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into non-stop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee Sports Bar or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
The new year is here, and we all know it's the perfect time to hit the reset button. Let's be real, guys. Feeling confident in how you look and feel isn't just for women. That's where Quintessa Aesthetic Center comes in. From now through March 31st, Quintessa is offering exclusive packages to help you start 2025 as a more confident you. Whether it's weight loss plans or even IV therapy, Quintessa has personalized options backed by medical experts to help you look and feel your absolute best. Visit myquintessa.com to learn more. Make 2025 the year you feel confident inside and out.
I'm excited about it. You know, these cutting edge things that are new in medicine now, I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics. It works.
Henry Hinton decided to check out QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his aching knees after seeing a close friend have amazing results without going under the knife.
I have a friend that started this, which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it. He could not play golf anymore, and he went to QC Kinetics and started having the treatments, and he's back golfing like 3 days a week. He couldn't play at all.
QC Kinetics gets you back to doing what you love, using your own natural biologics to help heal and restore damaged joints. Long-term relief that puts a guy back on the golf course.
You know, I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference. QC Kinetics works. I'm excited about it.
You're next. Start with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Everyone's go-to source for all NFL news.
And we're going to get right to some breaking news here that just came down. This tweet from Adam Schefter.
Adam's on the phone. Adam, you got more news? What do you got?
They're going with another move.
And he was the man who knows all, Adam Schefter.
It's ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
It's always hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. It just is. I wouldn't be surprised if they meet again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay is in that game and Green Bay has a chance to win that game.
Adam Schefter on JGC is sponsored by Island Resort and Casino. Gaming, casual, and fine dining. 2 golf courses, a luxury spa, and live entertainment. Your total experience is at the Island.
Always love catching up with our pal, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We do it every Wednesday. And I have a lot of things I want to get into with our buddy Adam. However, I want to start here, and this is why from time to time, maybe you want to check out our YouTube stream and check out the video component of our show. Are you on vacation, Adam? Like you're in a robe? Are we catching you at a bad time? Like what's going on, pal?
You know what, Gabe? It's Wednesday morning. I'm allowed to be in a robe. I'm not going to Indianapolis till next week. Braves should start for a few weeks. I threw on a robe. That's the way it goes.
All right. It looks like a comfy robe. Like it looks like it's nice and soft.
It is comfy. You know what? I approve. I need to wear a robe more often than I do.
I think that goes true for everybody. Like, because I'll tell you this: if I'm at a nice hotel and they're offering the robe, once I see that robe, it's going on. Like,
Wouldn't you like to see Adam in a Ric Flair robe walking around the pool? I think that would just be awesome.
Just strutting and wooing.
Just strutting. Adam, who's going to get franchised? What are some big names around the league, if anybody?
Well, I think the big one you're watching is T. Higgins in Cincinnati, and I'm sure Packers fans are wondering if there's any way that they would be able to re-sign or sign a guy like T. Higgins. And I just think that Cincinnati can't afford to let a guy that good, that talented, get out the door. It's just not good business. And so I would think that he'll be tagged. The Vikings restructured Byron Murphy Jr.'s contract to the point where he can't be tagged. I thought he might get a tag. So the tag would be in play for Sam Darnold. If they decide to do that, it'll be pricey. We'll see whether they go in that direction or not. I think the Chiefs could put the transition tag on their guard, Trey Smith. The franchise tag, the cost would be too prohibitive in my mind, but a transition tag would be about $21 million, which I think would be more in line. So that's certainly an option for you. And outside of those 3 situations, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Kansas City, I'm sure there may be another tag that sneaks in there, but I don't see a lot of tags this year. It's going to be a quieter year on the tag front, and the tag period started yesterday. It goes through Tuesday, March 4th, so we'll see if and when anybody uses a tag.
With Darnold and T. Higgins, is it more likely you think that the Vikings and Bengals use the tag to try to negotiate a longer-term deal, or do you think they tag just so they can get something in return and then trade those players away and let their new teams deal with whatever contracts they end up getting?
I think T. Higgins is in a little bit of a different category. I don't know how the Bengals will handle it. Now, they once tagged Jesse Bates twice. Teams don't like to tag players in general. They certainly don't like to tag them twice. If they could avoid that, it's not conducive to getting a deal done, and then you run the risk of just losing the player after the second tag. It's also unlike Cincinnati to tag and try to trade a guy, especially when they're in the window to try to compete for a playoff spot and go far in the playoffs, and we've had their quarterback, Joe Burrow, publicly lobbying for them to keep as many of these players as possible, right? So to me, it would make sense to look to deal T. Higgins, but I don't know that that's what the Bengals are going to do. And Sam Darnold, like if you're going to tag him, I don't think you're tagging him to trade him. I think you're tagging him to have him be a short-term stopgap measure until you can figure out whether or not J.J. McCarthy is healthy enough and is your guy for the future.
Adam, is Aaron Rodgers a possibility in San Francisco if the Purdy contract talks become contentious?
No, I don't see that because
No.
Purdy's got a year left in his contract anyway, Chewy. So what is he going to do? Like, does Brock Purdy strike you as a guy who's going to hold out on the last year of his rookie deal? Like, I think the 49ers know.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should, Schefter. Have you seen prices in San Francisco? They're outrageous. That's having the 7th round deal.
Listen, I just don't see him taking this combative, confrontational approach to the organization. I don't see it. Now, it doesn't mean it won't happen. But I think they want to re-sign him. And I think the challenge there is just finding the right number. And at some point, I believe they're going to be able to do that, whatever that number is, right? Yeah, $50 million, which would be less than the 60 that Dak makes, but still ahead of a lot of the other quarterbacks. Now, the agent, of course, is a big quarterback deal for him. He's going to want to crush this deal, so he's going to want closer to 60 than 50, I'm sure. So we'll see how it shakes out, but yeah, I mean, if you're signing Aaron Rodgers, why? Like, you're going to get a deal done with Brock Purdy. He's under contract, so what are you doing? Like, I don't see that right now.
Adam, when are we going to see some of these potential players start to get released? We're about 2.5 weeks away from that legal tamper window.
We started seeing it.
Okay.
We started seeing it. I mean, you saw yesterday, and it's not big names, but the Browns released Naheem Hines, the running back. The Eagles released the center, Nick Gates. The 49ers released a veteran linebacker. Like, you're starting to see that. Like, these are some of the simple ones that teams are doing. But now, I think as we get closer, I think over the course of the next week, you'll start to see some bigger, higher profile names being released and that free agent pool expanding. And it's not a great free agent pool this year. And it's interesting because we're not going to see a lot of tags. It's not a great free agent pool. It's not considered a great draft class. I think what we're seeing here is that teams have gotten wise about re-signing and retaining their own players. They're not letting them get to market. I think that's been pretty wise approach by these teams, and I think that's reflected in the free agent class this year.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if, these players, the ones you just named, or, some that the Packers might be interested in, I'll grab a random one. Let's say Devontae Adams. If he gets released, the Packers can sign him immediately, right? They don't have to wait for free agency because he doesn't have a contract and he can just sign.
Correct. The players who are released are eligible to sign right away. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't been released, but I believe the Jets have granted him permission because they have to designate him a post-June 1 release, and I don't think they can do that to the start of the new league year on March 12th. So I think they grant him permission to go talk to teams to begin to plot out his future, but he can't sign anything or get anything done until the middle of March.
Adam, have you heard anything about Jair Alexander? Things have been pretty quiet here. He's even been quiet. Have you heard anything about trade or release or when they're going to do it?
Sure, I got to be honest with you. The Super Bowl ended last week, right? I kind of dialed it back. I haven't
He's in a robe,
right
Chew. So, come on, man.
Exactly. Chewy, I was busy putting on my robe, not checking on Jair Alexander's
All right.
future.
All right. I got something a little lighter for you.
I was trying to pick out whether I wanted my Ric Flair robe or my white bathrobe or the black one, or steal like my wife's pink one or whatever it was. I decided to go with the white robe this morning.
All right, I'm going to go a little lighter here for you because I used to be a pretty big golfer. I'd golf probably, 15 years ago, maybe 70, 80 times a year. So my buddy sent me this list.
Well, hold on. Before you get there, how many times a year do you golf now?
I have not. Gabe, when's the last time I golfed? 2 years?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 2 years. Combination of the body, ADD. I'm great for 3 holes.
Okay.
3 holes. If I'm playing poorly, that's enough. If I'm playing okay, maybe 8, maybe 9. But I used to be a much bigger golfer. But my buddy sent me this list from X, and he sent it because I did every one of them. So you and Gabe answer this as I go.
All right.
Hole in one.
No.
Never.
Broken 80.
Yep.
No.
Hold out from 100 yards.
Yes.
Nope. Gabe's obviously a much better golfer than I am.
Hit a house.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Made a quadruple bogey.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And broke a club.
Yes.
No.
You've never broken a club, Adam?
No.
Wow.
No, I've never broken 80, and I've never broken a club.
All right. Those are,
Okay.
I've
done every one.
Like there are a few. You've done every one of them?
Yeah. Yep.
Where was your hole-in-one, Chewy? Where was your hole-in-one?
At my club back home. It was the third hole. It was my third hole of the year. It was like in April, and a little 5-iron. Nice little butter cut in there. Went in the hole.
Did you see it go in?
I didn't. But and
really?
we have a deal where my buddy's got to pay me $100. Everyone that I play golf with. But I almost had one the next day. Hit it off the hosel. It never went higher than 2 feet off the ground and landed an inch from the cup. And I said,
"Wow!
If that went in, you don't have to pay me the 100 or anything. Just do not tell anybody."
I would say this: if I could accomplish anything in sports, I would love a hole-in-one more than anything in my life at this point. Like I would love every. There's not a par 3 that I step up to that I don't think, well, maybe this is going to be the time.
This is the one.
This is the day.
This is the day. And I remember one time I was actually on assignment following Michelle Rhee when she was a teenager and a big deal playing golf. And we were on the second hole of a course, third hole. It was somewhere in Honolulu. And I watched her hit the ball, and it went in the hole. It was a hole-in-one. I'm like, oh my! Have you ever had a hole-in-one? And she's like, yeah, 7. I'm like, okay.
No big deal to her at that point.
7. Maybe it was 6 or 7. I mean, it was a big number. I'm like, whoa, okay. Here's this 15, 16-year-old girl who just hit her 7th hole-in-one. Like, okay, yeah,
that's
pretty
crazy.
good.
No big deal.
Oh, my God.
Before we let you go, Schefter, I want to ask you this, because we spent a lot of time on our show this morning talking about Mark Attanasio, who is the Brewers' principal owner. Yesterday at spring training, he asked the question out loud, is my job to win a World Series, or is it to provide entertainment for families around Milwaukee throughout the course of the summer? Something that he said out loud. So my question to you is, if you own a sports team, what is your job?
My job is to field a winner because a winner entertains. I'm not thinking about fielding an entertaining team. I'm thinking about fielding the best possible team I can, because if it's the best team, it's going to win and it's going to be entertaining. Now, as I'm building that team, if all of a sudden it's winning and I see that there's an entertaining player available that could lighten up things and provide a little bit of fine, great. But that's not how I'm thinking in any way. I'm not thinking about, you know what entertaining is? Entertaining is winning. You know what entertaining is? The postseason. You know what entertaining is? Championships. That's entertaining. That sells. If you're doing that, I guarantee all the rest takes care of itself. It's sort of like, in a different way, like I always tell young people today, you shouldn't go into a job like, I don't like the answer, what do you want to do? I want to make money. Well, that's dumb. Go do something you love, and then the money will follow. Hopefully, if you're fortunate enough, right? It's the same thing with building championships. Go build the best team you can. And if you're building a winning team, that team's going to win games. And you know what fans like? They like wins. They find that entertaining. So that, to me, building an entertaining roster isn't even a part of the conversation. It's a moot point.
Very well said.
I can't think of any other way to put that. That is the best way to put it. Shefty, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your day just lounging around in the bathrobe.
Woo!
Well, I might be adventurous now and take the robe off now that I'm going with you guys. We'll see. and then after I'm done taking the robe off, maybe I'll go break a golf club, but I won't break 80, and I won't have a home run.
There you go. Check one off the list.
Adam Schefter, we love talking with him each and every Wednesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
The Island Resort and Casino brings our conversation to you with Adam Schefter each and every week. It's premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Whether that's, again, somebody like Adam. Maybe you want to lounge around in a bathrobe. Maybe you want to play some golf. They do it all. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Life's a relentless competition, and you might be losing without even knowing it. With testosterone levels plummeting 25% in just 2 decades, you're likely operating at a fraction of your potential. Your kids sense it when you're too exhausted for playtime. Your wife notices when that spark fades. Here's the harsh truth. Without addressing low T, nothing works. Diets fail, workouts fall flat, but there's hope. Mentality's FDA-approved treatment restores testosterone by an average of 30%. Don't let low T rob you of life's precious moments. Start at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone, up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard, so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on My Plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Michelle Smallman here. Dreaming of seeing your team draft their next superstar? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Witness unforgettable moments and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't miss out. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I'm in a slump. My energy took a nosedive out of nowhere, and I just don't have the motivation to get things done.
You're over 40. Could be lower testosterone. Have you tried Nugenix Total T?
Nugenix, the testosterone booster on TV?
That's right. Look, I felt the same plunge in my energy after I turned 40. So I tried out Nugenix to see if it would help me.
Did Nugenix make a difference for you?
Night and day. My stamina's way up now. I'm building lean muscle at the gym. I'm totally back on my game. And you could be too. Just send a text to Nugenix. They'll send you a complimentary bottle so you can try it for yourself.
Text ROCK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321-321. That's ROCK to 321-321. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm saying if we collectively, all the people in their cars, all the people listening on the YouTube stream, all the people listening this morning, if we all do it together, there's power in prayer, friends.
Yes, there is. Bless me, Father, for I played man.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Always appreciate our time with our guy, Adam Schefter.
Gabe, isn't it about time for you to have a hole-in-one? I mean, what are we doing here? You play golf more than anyone I know.
You think I'm not trying?
What's the closest you've been?
Closest I've been a couple of years ago playing hole 12 on Whistling Straits.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Hit a wedge that zipped back.
Is that the one, the blind shot? Is that the blind shot?
No, it was right around, so I could see it and where the pin was. I mean, they can tuck the pin way back right, but I was playing an event, and it would just, putting it back there during an amateur event is just bad idea because it's such a difficult shot. So it was more in the front left, so you can kind of hit a wedge and kind of spin it back. And for a while, it was tracking and ended up, I don't know, I've got a picture of it in my phone. I mean, we're talking an inch and a half away from rolling in after it zipped back.
Did you say you broke a club?
Yes.
Okay. Did I tell you a story when I broke a club?
I believe it was the brand new Vokey wedge at a bachelor party, correct?
It was at the Meadows course at Black Wolf Run.
Oh, sure. Underrated course.
And we're probably on 12 or something like that. And he had, the guy who's getting married, had just bought the wedding party brand new Vokey wedges. Remember when the Vokey wedges, that is the wedge? Oh,
that's the wedge, yeah. Nobody else had the specialty wedges the way that Vokey did, yeah.
So I'm probably, 5 feet off the green. Got the Vokey. Feeling good. And then just hosel rocketed it across the green. And I was playing with the guy that was getting married with two other guys
who had given you the wedge. And again, these wedges are not cheap.
Yeah. Snapped it right across my knee and then looked at him and went, ooh, sorry. It's all about the bottom line. Hey, I didn't want to lose money.
Well, yeah,
Sutton's?
You didn't lose money, but
no,
your buddy did.
Probably did. Roundabout way.
Did you break the wedge or did you break your club on purpose? Because I don't see you with a temper.
Yeah, so the time I broke a club, I was on hole 8 at then Rock River Hills, the course I grew up on. This had to have been in high school because I wasn't playing a ton of golf in high school because I was busy with baseball. But had hit a decent enough tee shot, and I'm right up against a pond. You got to hit your second shot, over this little pond to get it there. And it was my 7 or 8 iron, and I hit the ball, and on the follow through, it's like, man, that club's gotten really light. And I just hear whoop, 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 and the head starts skipping across the pond because that impact, it just, for whatever reason, just snapped right off.
That's not out of anger.
Well, no, but I still broke a club. That wasn't the question.
Count.
The question was not, did you break a club out of anger? The question was, have you broken a club? And the answer to that question is yes.
It was implied.
Those are expensive.
Huh?
So those things are expensive.
Yeah,
you can't
right?
just be breaking them.
Oh, I had a running account at Golf Galaxy.
Just put it on my tab.
Where I would just call and they say, what iron? It was the 2 iron. It didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Josh, you've never broken a club, right?
No, I have had a head fly off of one, but it was an old club that was just kind of in the bag. No, I don't get that mad. I've flung some clubs. Give them a nice end over end.
I've definitely thrown clubs.
But managed
I've
to not
had
break
some
any.
epic tosses.
Oh,
epic.
Yeah, you got
epic. Gabe, I threw a club. Do you know? Okay, you played Bristol Cone before, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 6. 7.
Okay.
No, 7, 12, 13. The par 3's on the other side of the road. You come under, and then it's a short par 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit a 2 iron there, out of bounds. Didn't do what it's supposed to do. I threw it all the way into the water on 16.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's a good 80, might be 100-yard toss.
This is a good toss. It's a good toss. It was downwind. You wind up like the hammer throw. You're just spinning around.
Oh, I tell you what, though, something about doing that, it makes you feel so much better. It really does.
But don't you feel like an idiot the second, like it feels good the second you release it.
The walk to it.
But then as you see the club, after you have to like go after it, I feel so ashamed.
No. The only time that it stings is when the next hole or hole after comes up and goes, where the hell's my 2-iron? Oh, it's in the pond. That's what it stings.
Yeah. There are some interesting things happening in the world of college football. Chewy is blissfully unaware. We will update him on those in 2 minutes. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound on 894. We're backing up from about 60th, or actually from the Hale to 60th Street. Northbound 4394, backing up around the Plainfield curve all the way up past Chase, heading up towards the KK River. Southbound on 43, backing up from just south of Silver Spring all the way down to Locust. And then the big stuff. Eastbound 94, slowing from 92nd Street all the way to 35th. Westbound is backed up from about 16th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold with a few flurries later on, a high of 15. Tonight, a few flurries, still very cold, a low of 6 above at the lake, 0 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into nonstop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
Drum roll, please.
Carbliss is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbliss perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbliss is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why Bliss is more with Carbliss.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Bruston Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Hey, you know what, Jen? Sometimes I put stuff in my hair to get rid of some of the gray.
So attractive one day, not attractive the next.
Have you come across this?
Yes, I am familiar with this syndrome. She's a two-face.
And when I come in the next day, you can kind of notice a little bit. But by the 3rd or 4th day, you forget, okay? Yes, there I said.
Boy, am I glad to see you.
Are you expecting someone else?
You never know.
You know, you might want to take the tunnel.
So, what do you feel like eating, Chinese or Italian?
I put a little hair product in. Sue me. Who cares? Own it.
Kramer, hi.
Oh, hello.
It's Gwen. We met at the coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
I'm dating your friend Jerry.
I don't know who you really are, but I've seen Jerry's girlfriend, and she's not you. You're much better looking.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth.
Before we get to college football, just to put a wrap on the club throwing discussion that we just had, Chew, on the Carbliss Talking text line, I think Ryan from Milwaukee takes the cake. I once threw a club, hit my bag, broke 2 clubs in the bag. It's tough.
Hey, it happens.
It's tough.
It's a dangerous sport.
That is tough. Meanwhile, in college football, it appears that some changes could be coming to the college football playoff in the way that teams are selected and the way that the college football playoff is played. So we just experienced the first ever 12-team playoff, and I think in 2025, at least according to all the reporting that's out there, it's going to remain the same in 2025. However, in 2026, It appears that the SEC and Big Ten are going to be they're going to be flexing some muscle because there were some negotiations last year, Chew, over the future of the college football playoff. And the leaders of the Big Ten and the SEC apparently decided to flex some muscle and threaten to create their own postseason system if they were not granted a majority of college football playoff revenue. So they were given that basically by the other commissioners in Notre Dame. They signed a memorandum of understanding, handing over control to these two conferences. So now the SEC and Big Ten are meeting this week. And it appears that they are going to push, and likely be granted because they have all of the power, that the playoff is going to go to 14 to 16 teams, and that each conference could get up to 4 automatic spots in the postseason bracket. So half of the spots, if they go to 16 teams, half the spots would go to the SEC and the Big Ten. And then, I guess they don't really care how it goes from there. But this would kind of cut down on the number of at-large bids then that would be available to every other team that would be out there.
Here's the problem. And I think they should leave it at 12. It was fine. That's enough. The NCAA is trying to do what the NFL's doing, okay? And that is the NFL wants to add an 18th game because it makes them more money. College is trying to follow suit, right? That they want to get games up to 14, 15, 16 games a year for these college kids because the NCAA feels that they're now getting paid because of NIL. Here's the problem. Not all the athletes get paid. Only a handful of them, and it's the high-profile ones, make NIL money, right?
Yep.
In college football. So if I'm a right guard, average kid, that's not making or making very little NIL, I ain't playing 16 games. This is what they're doing, and it's getting ridiculous because they're taking advantage of these kids again. Everyone hears NIL. Oh, everyone must be making $1 million. That ain't how it works. So if I'm these kids, and I don't know what their recourse is.
Oh, they don't have one.
Right?
They don't have a recourse.
Have any.
No. I guess you could not play.
Would you agree with that, though? I mean, these games are starting to get a little out of control.
But, going to 16, Chewy, going to 16, you're adding 4 to the field, but like the 4 teams that had buys, they just have to play one more game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think it's.
Yeah, but what if your 15 seed keeps winning and winning and winning? They're eventually going to get to 16 games. When I played, it was 11. It was 11, I think. 11.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it gets expanded to 12, then sometimes 13, and then 14. Yeah.
These kids aren't getting any money when it comes to TV revenue because the playoffs would get bigger.
Correct.
They get nothing.
Correct.
So something's got to happen here. Otherwise, they're just going to push limits. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.
So under this proposal, 4 automatic qualifiers each for the SEC and Big Ten, 2 each for the ACC and Big 12, 1 to the highest-ranked Group of 5 champion, and then either 1 or 3 at-large spots, depending upon if they go to 14 or 16 and keep a couple of buys in there.
But this is just a money grab, right, for the SEC and Big Ten?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, because that's all any of this ever is a money grab.
I think it's also pretty clearly a push to just there being a Big Ten and SEC. All the schools that are worth a damn, there's going to be however many it may be. They'll take some from the remaining conferences, the big names, and then everyone will sort of be left to fend for themselves. It seems like the consolidation of conferences is not going to stop, and they are going to go out of their way to make sure it extends. And it seems antitrust and like they're trying to push everyone out, and that's probably because it is. if we're going to be frank about it.
If it seems like that, that's because it is.
So what should they do? I mean, what's the best formula for this? To get rid of conferences?
Yeah, I don't know, because what's happening now is there's a shift coming in terms of revenue sharing. We know that's happening with college athletes now are going to be getting a piece of the pie. And we've seen some teams already make efforts to sort of align to that already. What's happening here is there's a lot of money that's going to be thrown up in the air, and what everyone's doing is angling themselves to end up with the most of it in the end. It's going to screw the athletes. Here's one thing I can promise you. The Big Ten, the SECs, the Notre Dames, they ain't losing money in this deal. They ain't going to be less profitable. The problem they're trying to figure out is how are we going to corner the kids out, and how are we going to make it go to the big, important Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States. How are we going to corner all that money?
But, I mean, this makes all the sense in the world to me from the direction this has all been going, with the money, with everything. And to your point, Josh, I think, yes, it gets you a step closer to just being an SEC and a Big Ten. But that's what college football in particular, it's not amateur athletics. It's professional.
No.
It's professional. Yeah. And every other professional league in North America is AFC versus NFC, American League versus National League, East versus West. Right?
It's triple A.
So doesn't this
triple
just?
A, Gabe?
Oh yeah, but to me it's probably
higher.
quadruple A.
Yeah.
Like it's really close, especially if they eliminate all the other fat and it just ends up being Big Ten, SEC. Then it just ends up okay. Eventually, you're going to have a Big Ten champion and an SEC champion, and they play each other for the college football championship.
Which isn't good for football.
Have your own tournaments within that, but that's what the NFL does. There's an NFC tournament and an AFC tournament, and then they meet each other in the Super Bowl.
The problem is the NCAA does nothing. They just sit there and go,
oh, the NCAA.
They've been sitting on their hands.
My check coming today?
The NCAA has lost all control of college football. Yeah. They don't have any say. Like the college football playoff is a separate identity. The NCAA has zero to do with the negotiation and the execution of that, other than, I guess, these institutions follow the NCAA, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, rules and guidelines.
Yeah, it seems like there's probably, eventually, if we play this out, football is going to exist outside of the NCAA.
Yes.
You'll keep it for some of the smaller sports and some of the more...
Oh, yeah, like Division II, Division III still exists. FCS
I would say
still exists.
Rowing at the Division I level probably will still be an NCAA entity, but the football is going to just be its own branch that's affiliated with schools.
What happens to basketball?
The NCAA, you're going to have to pry away basketball from the NCAA's cold, dead fingers because they are the ones who negotiate with Turner and CBS, and they're the ones who are making the billions of dollars off the NCAA tournaments. That kind of funds a lot of the other things that they do. So basketball, they'll try to still have some sort of say over what's going on there.
So is this going to wind up in Congress?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's what we do here.
College athletics have to get litigated through our government. Yeah, that's kind of what we're going.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it is. I mean, what is the NCAA doing? What do they do?
I think they'd have a hard time answering that question themselves. if you were to put them to it.
So what you're saying is that at least Mark Antanasio has a plan of what he wants to do. Yeah. The NCAA's like, I don't even know what I do here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing what I used to do sometimes.
Not even all the time.
To some extent, and we're kind of just holding on to our butts here. That's kind of what it feels like, doesn't it?
It's just, why can't they leave things alone? You know? It's like Adam said, the money's great, but it's not everything. Do what's best for the sport. Right?
Oh, we're way past that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. I mean, I don't know if any entity that we know in sports operates as for what's the good of the future of the sport. I don't think anybody does.
Which is sad. Right?
More ineffective, the NCAA or WIAA?
At this point, I'd almost rather have the WIAA run college football.
Yeah, you might get some wrong teams into the playoffs.
But at least they're showing some initiative.
Yeah, at least they're doing stuff. They might be suspending some kids for absolutely no reason, but they're doing it.
Hey, they're at least
trying, I guess.
Did not anticipate kind of juggling those two things. But Yeah, I mean, to me, college football is on a path of it's already professional football. We saw it. I mean, the stories about Ohio State spending $20 million and Alabama spending $18 million or whatever it was. Like, we're already there. It's just a matter of these conferences coming together and coming up with whatever the best plan is. There'll be a salary cap. It's going to look a lot like the NFL. That's what college football is going to be, and it's just going to be instead of being a part of the institution, they're just going to find a way to be affiliated with the institution.
But the difference, you're paying these kids with all private money, right? Which is not, I mean...
Well, I mean, there was a clip not that long ago of Mark Lazary, the former owner of the Bucks, where he was talking about, because he's part of a group that just bought into golf, right? Like there's this group of people that own a bunch of these sports teams in private equity that are talking about buying college athletic programs, right? So I mean, that's what would happen is that people would buy in, and again, there'd be revenue and all this sort of. It'd be exactly like the NFL, but they would just find a way to. Again, the university would have to get some sort of kickback, but
because Gabe, if Ohio State, let's just say they lost in the first round of the playoffs, right? The AD is not firing Ryan Day. The alumni are firing Ryan Day because the money's going to dry up. We're not giving you anything.
Yeah. Well, again, that's where this thing's going to get really interesting. Is I mean, where's the alumni money going to go? Are they going to throw it behind if football breaks away and they're just affiliated with Ohio State? Are the boosters going to want to do that, or can the boosters still just give the money to Ohio State? And now Ohio State football is just its own private entity that's owned and operated by a guy like Mark Lazary.
Yeah, no, you're right. Why can't we just go back to the old days?
It ain't happening, pal. There's just too much money at stake.
Well, then I'm not going to watch. How's that?
I doubt it. Because you love college football and NFL football.
Well, it's losing a little juice.
Because it's not what it used to be for you.
No, it's not.
And that's the thing that I wonder, because the one thing that college football to me always has had going forward is the pull and the draw from the alumni fan base, right? Like that's always something that the Athletics always brought people back. But if it's only affiliated with the institution, is it going to have that same emotional connection with people who used to go to those schools?
Do we know what Wisconsin spent on NAL?
I do not.
We have no idea.
I'm sure there's going to be some sort of revenue that comes out. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of report eventually that kind of covers all of the money that the school spent in 2024. Yeah, because it's a public institution, right? So all that has to be public information.
Yeah, but those go through because that's why they have those what are they called? Collectives.
Collectives. So if they funnel it through the collective,
right? It's not actually going to be money through them because that's how a lot of teams are doing it now as a collective. And I'll just say. Teams putting out their amount is an advertisement, and the reason we don't know about the Badgers,
it's not going to be very high.
Yes, probably not a number that you are going to want to uphold, as this is something we can sell ourselves on.
Yeah, it's just not. It's a bad system. It's a horrible system because you're going to have 15 teams, the same 15 teams every year. You know. Mm-hmm. And then the cherry picking, that's a whole nother level to this.
Well, so I think
transfer portal, because they're just going to cherry. Wisconsin has a great receiver. All right, Ohio State, how about we give you $3 million? And then he's gone. I think
like the one positive, Chew, is that there will be if and when it gets to the point that that college football is completely separated from college sports. Mm-hmm. The players would become employees, and there would be contracts
where they couldn't leave.
Yeah, well, and maybe they could if they're a free agent, right? Like if you're a freshman and you sign a 2-year deal, then maybe you leave, or they sign you at an extension. It'd just be like any other sport. Although I don't know how you do a high school football player draft. I don't know how you do that.
No, it's gonna be a tough one to pull off.
Yeah, that's gonna be really tough to pull off.
And probably if somebody wanted to challenge it, they'd probably find that was illegal too. But the NFL and
they're just folded in.
Yeah, because this is going to go to high school. It's going to go to high school with like Texas and California and Florida, where in Ohio, where it's huge. Like, hey, you want to go to Waukesha West instead of be at South? Hey, we'll give you $1,500 in Cousin Subs gift cards. Hey, I'm there.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if somebody can make money off of it, you know they're going to try to exploit it, certainly. There is a dream scenario that's out there for the Packers that I don't know if I would describe it as a dream, Joshy. I don't know if dream is the right way to describe it. We'll explain what we mean coming up next, but I do want to tell you it's Dame time. Season 4 of Behind the Bucks podcast. It's presented by Gallagher. Explore Bucks superstar Damian Lillard's unlikely journey from a 2-star high school prospect to a top 75 player in NBA history. The series, which is narrated by senior NBA insider Chris Haynes, reveals exclusive details of Dame's trade to the Bucks and experience with the team. Find Behind the Bucks, bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR benefits consultant.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
General delays around the area, still doing okay out there. We got eastbound 94 backing up just a bit, just east of 92nd Street all the way through the stadium. The westbound side's backed up from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43, watch for backups from south of Hampton all the way down towards North Avenue. And then on northbound 4394, we got some backups basically between Howard Avenue and Oklahoma Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold, a few flurries later on, a high of 15. Tonight, few flurries, still very cold, a low of 6 at the lake, 0 inland. Weather's brought to you by Good Health Saunas. Get your in-home infrared sauna today. Great for post-workout detoxing, skin rejuvenation, back relief, and flexibility. Visit goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, this is Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. One of the best decisions I made recently was getting an infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. They're a local business that's been around for 2 decades, based right in Appleton and Waukesha. Good Health Saunas are easy to install, cost as little as 25 cents a day, and include a true lifetime warranty. Even firefighters all across the country trust Good Health Saunas for sweating smoke out of their skin after fighting fire. Learn more at goodhealthsaunas.com. That's goodhealthsaunas.com.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone. Up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on my plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
How are you feeling, big guy, about the MRI?
It's starting to hurt now. I think I have mental issues. I really do.
Well,
gonna have to clip that
yeah,
for me?
that's just, I mean,
just hold on to it?
I know, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just, I think it's something in my brain's telling me
Something is wrong, buddy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
To give you an idea, Augie from Fredonia just decided to throw this on the talk and text line. Carbless talk and text line. Less is more. Badgers Wire lists UW's top 10 NIL deals valued at $1.99 million.
That ain't gonna get it done.
Things are starting to become more clear as to why they may be struggling in the Big Ten.
Ain't gonna get it done.
During the offseason in football, Chew, there are a lot of, stories that go out there. We've gone over some of them. Bill Barnwell ranking wide receivers and all these different things. So over at Pro Football Focus, they had a story entitled NFL Offseason Dream Scenarios, the perfect free agent and 2025 draft pick for each franchise. So when you think dream scenario, right, you're thinking, you're probably going to, it's a dream, right? Why not throw T. Higgins on there as a free agent? Why not throw, some big name out there? Here is the dream scenario, and I want to know what you think of this dream scenario that was put out there by Pro Football Focus for the Green Bay Packers. Free agent signing, center Drew Dahlman from the Atlanta Falcons, and their first-round pick, cornerback Trey Amos from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
How is that a dream scenario?
That's not a dream scenario because I think
a free agent center. That's what we're doing. That's the Packers dreaming. Come on, Pro Football Focus. We got to do better than this.
Yeah, what are you doing? Because we all, I believe, have the cornerback position number 3 on our list behind receiver and D end.
Correct.
And a center. Why not just keep?
Yeah, if you're going to pay for a free agent center, I think you would just keep the guy that you know. I guess I'm under the assumption that either they're going to replace him internally or replace him through the draft at this point.
Are you surprised at what Jason said yesterday? Because he certainly doesn't believe they're doing anything with the defensive line.
I think they're going to add somebody there, Chew, but I'm also
no one of substance.
I'm also of the belief that the 3 big names we continuously talk about, whether it's Garrett, Crosby, or Trey Hendrickson, I just don't think that those guys are going to be on the move. As much as we would love to, as much as I would love that Josh Jacobs has the recruiting power to convince Max Crosby that Las Vegas isn't the place he's going to be or should be, I think that the Raiders are going to convince him enough that, hey, you don't need to relocate your entire life to Green Bay. We're going to turn things around here.
Josh Jacobs could do all he wanted, but it's just those top 3 guys not going to happen because Goody's not going to do the double whammy where he's got to give up draft picks and then pay them.
But I also don't think I don't think anybody's getting traded. I just don't.
No, I don't either.
I don't think.
The nice thing, Gabe, is I think we can put that to sleep in about, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
About 2.5 weeks, yeah.
2.5 weeks.
Depending upon when. Well, at least for Myles Garrett. I don't know if there's a big trigger that has a roster bonus in Max Crosby's deal. But yes, around free agency, that is all going to be, I think, sorted out.
Yeah. Wow, this is going to be a very interesting offseason. Very interesting. Because the receivers outside of T. Higgins,
honestly,
not that delicious,
True. I think the biggest name the Packers can get, that's a realistic possibility, is still Devontae. Like that's the biggest thing that they can do.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing they can do that is a realistic possibility at this point.
But still, it's un-Goody-like.
Yes, it would be very un-Goody-like.
It goes against everything Goody does.
Yep.
Old would be a, fourth contract?
Yeah, technically a fourth contract, sure. But I guess I don't know if we've really seen Goody in this position before. Because I don't know what Ron Wolf's philosophy, Chewy, was when, he was running other teams until he came to the Packers. Because you guys were young. And then when you guys got on that cusp, obviously you added Reggie, and that's different. But when you got on that cusp after 1994 and you got to 95 and you trade for Keith, you add Sean Jones, you add Santana Dotson, Eugene Robinson, Don Beebe. Like, you guys were a really young core, and then Ron Wolf decided to add, even if it was just for a year or two, for some of those guys, hey, I'm going to add these pieces to kind of put us over the top. Goody has not been, in fairness to him, he has not been in this position before where the team is this young and maybe on the precipice of something and needs that veteran leadership to push them over the top. So then he would go out and sign somebody like Devontae to a one-year deal.
Well, let me ask you this. Pay cuts don't happen really to guys that are on the roster. Because if Rashawn Gary had the 2 years he had in a row, which were single-digit sacks both years, Ron would be there going, all right, you're taking a pay cut. You can't do that anymore, can you?
Nope. If you go to a player and ask them to take a pay cut in 2025 and they say no, you basically have to release them. And
so the only pay cuts you get is like someone like Devontae. Will you come here for $14 million?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead of going to New Orleans for $16 million. That's the only version of a pay cut that there is today.
Yeah, and so
you could go to because there's no accountability.
Well, you could go to a player and they've done this before. They haven't done it recently, but they've done it before. Hey, are you willing to take a pay cut? And the player says yes, and then you work out whatever deal because that player realizes, hey, if I work out a deal here, that might still be for a little bit more than what I would get if I were released. The problem is with doing that to somebody like Rashawn Gary, like the Packers would be eating a lot of dead salary cap.
No, I know, which blows my mind, Gabe, because obviously Goody structured a contract with Josh Jacobs that was pro-Packer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was essentially a one-year deal where you could get... Why the hell didn't he do that with Gary?
He did.
When he hasn't even had a double-digit sack year.
So the basic thing, I mean, the Packers technically could get out of the deal this year, and they would have $40,000 of dead cap space with Rashawn. But typically what the most Goody contracts that he puts together, there's going to be an out. I guess this is true of just about any NFL contract unless you're the Browns and you give a fully guaranteed deal to Deshaun Watson. But it's got basically a 2-year out for the Packers because next year they could walk away and save $11 million on the cap. They could walk away from Rashawn Gary and just cut him straight up and save a bunch of money on the cap. So we just have it. This is year 2 of the extension. That's the problem. Usually you have to wait 2 years before you get to that point, and this upcoming season is going to be year 2 of the extension.
If both these players played 15 games next year, who would you rather have, Jair or Rashawn Gary?
Jair.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's particularly close. For me, at least for me.
I don't think it is.
For me, that's just it. But
I'm leaning towards you when it's like, just roll the dice on Jair. What the hell?
Right?
He's too good of a player. Maybe he figures it out. In the end, you're only losing, what'd you say, $6 million?
Yeah, so for the Packers, you would be a $5.5 to $6 million savings against the cap if they were to move on from him. But again, maybe the frustration's grown too big, and Rob's reporting from earlier this week points to them moving on. Again, that's not something they have to do right away because the roster bonuses wouldn't prohibit that, right? You wouldn't be giving a huge roster bonus that you would still have to absorb. But that's another answer I think is going to be, if he's still on the roster a month from now, I think Jair is going to be a Packer in 2025. Because I don't see anybody trading for that contract.
No, I don't see anyone trading for him, but...
Josh has an issue with the city of Milwaukee. We'll see if Josh can fight City Hall. Coming up next, it's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Some debris on the roadway on 94 eastbound, right in the stadium interchange. Looks like the right lane is blocked, so watch out for that. Delays are stretching back to 84th Street. The westbound side slowing from 30th Street to about Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43 slowing from just before Capitol Drive almost to North Avenue. And northbound 4394 slowing down from Holt all the way up past Oklahoma Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, high clouds, filtered sun, cold with a few flurries later on, a high of 15. Tonight, few flurries, still very cold, a low of 6 above at the lake, 0 inland. Weather's brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Join their 2-man scramble tournament and play TPC Scottsdale for a chance to win cash through the 28th. Sign up at wisconsinindoorgolfcenter.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Fingers come in different sizes.
It's one of the first things you learn as a jeweler.
And a ring can only be sized up or down a little bit.
Which means it's a really good thing to know your ring size.
And it's an even better thing to know their ring size.
This is why we're announcing
the Ring Size Registry at Kessler's.
We're doing it as a public service. It's completely free.
Free. Isn't that a great price?
Here's how it works.
Just drop into any Kessler's Diamonds location and tell one of the owners that you'd like to know your ring size.
Kessler's is an employee-owned company, so whoever greets you at the door is an owner.
They'll determine your ring sizes and add them to our Ring Size Registry.
Then, when someone wants to know your ring size...
Because, you know, maybe they want to surprise you.
All they have to do is call or stop into Kessler's.
Surprises can be fun, don't you think?
We're happy to do this for you, even if you don't buy a ring from us.
But after you take a look around, we think you probably will. Visit KesslersDiamonds.com for a location near you and register your ring sizes today.
Something amazing is happening here. AI is increasing workloads on CPUs and GPUs. But this company's laptops are more than keeping pace. That's because CDW worked with them to future-proof their laptop fleet by configuring them with devices enabled with AMD Ryzen AI. Improve performance and free up resources with AMD Ryzen and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/AMD client.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, has college football gotten a little sleazy? Where you can recruit a little? No, I'm saying from the standpoint, it used to be. That was good.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Josh, you've got some issues, apparently, with the city of Milwaukee.
I thought you were just saying he has issues.
I mean, implied. Yeah, that's course. Who doesn't, right? Like, whomst among us? Throw the first stones type of situation here. But you've got a city issue with the city of Milwaukee. You are experiencing the first winter in the new place that you're renting here in the city. It is a corner lot. And with the first really big snowfall that stuck around, because we've had some snow, but kind of disappeared within a couple of days. But with the big snow last week, you've got some issues now with the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, yesterday during the day, there was a little knock, knock, knock at the door. I wasn't home for it, but it was a Department of Public Works worker. And this person decided to tell us that the corner of the property where the sidewalk meets and there is a crosswalk needs to be better taken care of. Otherwise, we could be ticketed for not doing it. Now, as you said, there's a bunch of snow, nearly a foot here in Milwaukee, I believe was the final totals between the two. It snowed 2 separate times. I had removed all the sidewalk snow. We had a nice path laid down, salt for everyone, the pet safe salt too, so their little toesies don't hurt.
That's thinking.
Yeah, so going out of my way to provide the city as much as I can. The issue is we live on a thoroughfare, and it is a major road that people traverse like throughout the city. That corner, no matter really how much you take care of it, gets piled with snow because as the plows come by, they kind of clear out the main roadway and shuffle it into the side of the streets. So there was probably in spots 2 to 3 feet worth of snow. Now, I have tried to maintain this. I even carved a little path into it to try and make it easy for workers.
Sure.
But there is so much snow. It is so cold, and it got icy and slushy from being taken care of. There's basically just giant hunks of ice. So I understand that it's my responsibility, or it's deemed my responsibility, but the person showed up with their big old truck thing to remove snow, did it in all of 10 seconds. Now, if I would have done that, I'd be out there probably better part of an hour. Because I would have to chip away, move it, and there's no real good spot to put it. It's
nope,
corner.
Because it's a corner. Where are you going to go with it?
Where am I going to take all of this? So I was a little annoyed because I had tried to take care of it. I did take care of it initially, but as the storm went on and the clearing of snow process went on, it was added by those workers. So it felt like, well, you got the vehicle out here. You understand how snow removal works. You're doing it yourself. You probably drove the truck that pushed the snow here, to be quite frank with you. Now seen as your back. Like, what? I'm just supposed to be out there chipping away? I'm supposed to get a crowbar and move all that snow, even though it's not naturally there. It was put there. You guys put it there.
All right, couple of questions. Did you overlook this in the lease?
No, I know snow removal is on me. I rent, but we know it is a part of us. And
what about lawn mowing? Who mows the lawn?
I do.
So that's in the lease?
Yes.
Well, that's negotiable, Josh.
Well, I mean, not really. When you want a place, you're not going to say, can you take this off and pay somebody to come do this?
It's a competitive market out there, too. It's competitive.
Yeah, the home inspections aren't even a thing anymore. You just kind of have to waive them and hope for the best or have somebody come in with you that isn't paid.
Is this enough to make you want to move now?
I don't know if it's enough there. Now, this is the first time this has happened, but it's the
swear
first.
to God, Josh.
It's the first big. Believe me, I'm trying to stay. I might lose that battle.
Oh,
what?
You've got some Mussolini waffling?
Mussolini wants to conquer another territory?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally. I wouldn't debate it, but if it becomes an issue and that keeps happening, like they're gonna start writing me tickets because I didn't clear the court. Like I have half of a city block to clear.
Yeah,
because of the way our house is situated on that corner there. It's a long lot. I also have to take care of the alley as well, and then the front of the house. So I mean, there's significant amount of work going on here, and the fact that this corner didn't maintain the proper and I understand for people with disabilities who might need mobility things, it will be difficult to navigate. But you got to help me out here too. This is symbiosis between me and the city.
Do you think someone ratted you out?
I don't think so because there was multiple. this person in this big vehicle that they were using took care of our corner, the next corner, and then moved on to other corners in the neighborhood. So it felt like they kind of all realized, like, hey, this is a lot of snow and people are having a hard time figuring it out where to put it. So we're just going to bring in our heavy machinery and remove it.
So did your corner look better than the corner across the street?
Looked the same. Mine had a path, though. I carved out a path.
All right, so it was better.
For people to walk, but it's not like it looked good. It wasn't ideal by any sort of the imagination, but I did make an attempt because I at least realized people walk this every single day, and it would be inconvenient. You know, I walk the dog. I hate having to jump over or trudge through piles of snow. So it's like, well, I'll at least give a path here so we can sort of make it navigatable and sort of instead of just a giant iceberg there at the corner.
Gabe, you've lived in the city for a while.
Yeah.
What happened to the little snow blowers? A guy that would be in and he'd go around the whole neighborhood and blow
that's
snow?
What my guy does, by the way. So
no. I'm saying the city used to do it.
Oh God, no.
They have some of those. There's like little single person vehicles that sometimes have a plow attached or some sort of
like so there is by where I live, there is just a whole blocks of condos. That's all owned by the same company, and they've got those. That's what they do to kind of buzz around because they've got a lot of sidewalk that they have to cover between all the different condos that they have. So yeah, they've got the one man I don't even know skid steer that has the plow attached to it.
Yeah. I felt targeted as somebody who is taking. I have in my neighborhood probably the most amount of sidewalk to take care of, and ours is clean. There's no ice on it.
You did not think this through.
And I didn't, renting the house, I didn't expect, hey, in winter, the city's going to push all their snow here when they round the corner and make way for everyone, that it's going to then become my problem. I didn't anticipate that, and maybe that's on me.
Yeah, because the city doesn't care.
Right.
I'll tell you this right now.
But they do care to knock on my door and tell me to take care of it.
Yeah, because it's on you. Because they want it, because they're going to get the complaints, but they don't want to take care of it, so they want you to take care of it and
be careful.
responsible.
I'd be careful. I had an issue one time. Just be careful. See, I'd be nice to the guy. Be like, the guy wanted to help me out. He's got a truck. He's just, my back. Oh, my back. Because one time I complained when I was doing a show with Craig. This is pretty good pop. I complained, I'm like, how much sand and salt are they going to dump on the road? So the next time a snowstorm, the guy sat there in front of my driveway and then just let the thing run. So I had a mound of stuff. So I'm just saying, be careful, be nice.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not mad at this person because I'm sure this person didn't decide, hey, I'm going to go annoy these people. I'm sure he was sent there.
Oh, yeah, someone ratted you.
To do it?
That's the nice thing about down here. They rat you. Yeah, what's Nextdoor app? You guys have that back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
They just rat you out on Nextdoor app. Like a guy had a camper in front of his house that was there for about a week, and, Florida has a lot of old people in it who don't have a lot to do. So they just go around the neighborhood ratting people out on Nextdoor app.
It just seems like in this situation, I'm just screwed.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Don't ever buy a corner lot or don't ever rent on the corner ever again, Josh.
Yeah. We do have, there are people that are offering, Dumpy in West Bend saying he'd help you out for an ESPN T-shirts. Chef Ed thinks the city needs to cut you some slack. David asking, do you need a snowblower? He's got an extra one. We got people willing to help.
Nice people.
Snowblower.
Yeah. So... we do have this though.
Oh boy.
Matthew saying Joshy uses big words all the time. Stevie saying, wait, did Josh just say navigatable? So there's some people. Yeah, people are taking issue.
Is that not a word?
People are taking issue with your vocabulary while telling the story.
Well, hey, there's a lot of passion here. I wasn't confrontational. I didn't even speak to the person. I don't think Mussolini was confrontational but when they drive away, you're like, we got a foot of snow. Like what? You're going to write me a ticket, and then you're going to write 800 of them across the city because the corners aren't taken care of? Like, it feels like, what do we pay you guys to do?
But see now he's treading into that territory, Chewy.
Yeah,
they get paid to
There's a
remove
lot of
the
corner
snow.
lots in the city of Milwaukee. I don't expect them to find me out.
Not one that. You live on Squire, right? 233 Squire.
Exactly.
It's precisely the spot. Precisely the spot. Oh boy. Yeah. That's just part of it. Part of life, Josh. You're screwed. Nothing you can do because you can't fight City Hall.
No, you can't. I believe that's a song.
I think I can. What do they got on me?
Best of luck.
I've seen how they run stuff around here. You just confuse them.
Yeah, and then ultimately it's still on you to remove the snow.
I think
that part they're not confused about. I assure you.
Maybe the vehicle that was used to remove it in 10 seconds. Maybe we should just make that part of the process. Make everyone's lives easier.
We should have duked the guy some cash. He would have took it.
To do what? Come back in the future?
Back, help you out.
Yeah.
Help you out in the future.
Huh?
We got to see what we put on the polls. We do that coming up next. It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Men, you're being robbed of your potential. Research shows a shocking 1% annual decline in testosterone levels. That's why building muscle feels impossible and your confidence is at an all-time low. But here's the truth. You're not alone in this uphill battle. Mentality's physician-directed, FDA-approved treatment doesn't just level the playing field, it restores your body's powerful balance. Our patients experience a documented 30% increase in their testosterone levels. Stop struggling and turn this around. Defy the odds and reclaim your masculine edge at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 16th ranked Golden Eagles led by as many as 31 as they dominated Seton Hall 80-56 at Fiserv Forum to sweep the season series with the Pirates. Senior guard Cam Jones led 3 MU players in double figures with a game-high 14 points to go along with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. But it was his effort on the defensive end of the court that impressed head coach Shaka Smart.
I really thought Cam Jones on the defensive end gave us a lot of effort. Him being plus 31, I think, is a testament to the way he played on both ends of the floor.
Junior big man Ben Gold hit double digits with 10 points and 6 rebounds and snapped a 6-game skid from deep with a pair of 3-pointers. Marquette improves to 20-6 overall and 11-4 in Big East play. They visit Villanova on Friday night.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Kyle Wallace for Universal Windows Direct. February is here and love is in the air, but if you're not in love with the way your home feels this winter, Universal Windows Direct has the perfect solution with their Love Your Windows sales event. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. Need 4 windows, you pay for 2. It's the perfect way to save big while upgrading your home. Schedule your free in-home estimate or visit universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra with Joshy this Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield. Josh will be at Bullwinkle's watching the Bucks take on Los Angeles starting at 7. Stop by for a chance to win Michelob Ultra prizes. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at the Sandlots of Salem in Salem Lakes, Kelly's Bleachers Big Bend, and Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee. We'll see you Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield for the Bucks game at 7. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy responsibly.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
How much will Angie let you grow a beard?
I would say for 3 months I have to keep a beard if I lose.
Okay, and Angie would allow you to have a beard for 3 months.
She doesn't run my life. Drop that.
Yeah.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
Apparently the word that Matthew on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 800-990-3776, had an issue with was not the navigatable. It was symbiosis. Apparently that you also mentioned in your little rant that you had there, Joshy.
That's fair. And it's navigable is the word I was looking for, and I just threw out navigatable.
Okay. All right.
You got the point.
Yeah, everybody knew what you meant. Everybody knew what you meant.
I don't use big words for sport. They just come to mind. Big brain.
Kind of feels like you use them for sports sometimes.
It's what happens when you read and you consume a lot of stuff. You know, your brain grows, you get smarter. Sometimes you throw out the wrong word.
That's just a brain brag? Is that what's going on right now?
Big time. Mm-hmm.
What, your brain grows the older you get?
No, I think the opposite happens. But I was implying that the more you consume, the more it contains. Bigger, you know. Try out your brain.
Problem. I'm good.
Yeah, we know.
We're aware.
We know.
Follow along at Jen Gabe Chewy on Twitter. You can still go vote on these polls. Do you agree with Adam Schefter? Everyone should wear robes more often. 60% of people say no.
Did your parents wear robes?
Never. I don't think I've ever seen my parents in robes.
I've never seen mine either. I've never worn a robe.
Really?
Gabe, you go to a hotel, a medium doesn't fit me.
Well, yeah, but a lot of times they've got so when I was at the Old Course Hotel, when we went to Scotland, obviously Kohler Outrun, owns and operates it, so it's nice. They had 2 different sizes of robes in the closet.
Okay.
So, when I was in my room, I was lounging around in that robe.
Yeah, that's kind of bougie, though. I'm not really staying at St. Andrews. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Holiday Inn. Get more done the next day if you stay at a Holiday Inn. Just saying, they got the monster mediums.
Yeah, okay. I doubt you're staying at Holiday Inns when you travel.
Do you own a robe? Either of you guys own a robe?
I do not. My wife does, though. That was actually, I got her a very nice robe. That was my Christmas present to her this year. Because she had bought one for herself. I'm like, okay, we can upgrade this. So that was my Christmas present for her. So she likes wearing the robe. But I do not own one. I have never worn one in my own house. Joshy?
The only time I've ever worn a robe was in a hotel room, and it was for a little while. It's oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is a cool thing to do. It's here. I don't...
You don't think you'd lounge around your house in a robe?
No, because aren't there already clothes underneath it? Are you going naked underneath in most of those? It feels like no.
So I did when I was by myself. I'm just by myself in the room. Yeah,
you just let it breathe.
Yeah,
airflow.
Just walking on the golf course all day. Got to air everything out.
Pajamas are a thing of the past. My parents used to wear pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
No, pajamas, I'm out.
Pajamas are for when you're a kid at this point.
Yes. Yeah, but adults used to wear them.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. My parents had pajamas. But, now it's just
No, it's
sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
Yeah, we moved on.
Or if it's warm, then you're going the gym shorts and a T-shirt.
Exactly.
In a recent article, Brewers owner Mark Attanasio quoted as saying, is it my job to win a World Series, or is it my job to provide a summer of entertainment and passion and a way for families to come together? As a Brewers fan, does this comment bother you? Not shocking one here, Chew. 86% of people are bothered by that comment from Brewers principal owner Mark Attanasio.
I loved Adam's answer. That was perfect. If you didn't hear it, go back to whatever you go back to and listen to it because it's wonderful.
That would be Wisconsin On Demand.
That's a way. That's a way to sell it there, buddy.
Go to wherever you have
over
to
there
go
and check it out or something. I don't know.
I mean, his heart was in the right place. He just didn't have the right information to draw the people to where they need to go. Yes, Wisconsin On Demand is the place you need to go if you want to hear the conversation we had with Adam and the answer he gave at the end about what he believes ownership's job is when it comes to a sports franchise. Yeah, so not shocking. A lot of people bothered by that comment from Mark Attanasio, and I do not blame anyone for being bothered by that comment. We'll see if Wilde and Tausch are bothered by that comment, if they bring it up, because they're coming up next. This has been Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Just be Milwaukee.
Eastbound on 94, we've got backups from 84th Street all the way through the stadium interchange. Part of the problem, we got a broken down vehicle off on the right shoulder right about at 70th Street. So just be careful with that. Still dealing with the accident on the westbound side to northbound 175 in the stadium on that ramp there. Otherwise, everything else is looking pretty good. Just a little bit of a tap of the brakes on southbound 43 heading right past Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, high